Good evening, everyone, and welcome back to another edition of It Remains to Be Seen, where we talk about missing persons, we talk about true crime cases, and just a lot of the stuff that's going on out there. Today seems to have been a jam-packed day, but before we get into it, as always, um, on the left-hand side of your screen is your beautiful hostess, Lori, and over here on the right is me, Bob. And to everybody out in the chat, welcome, welcome. Hope you all have had a good day, and we're glad that you're out here to spend some time with us. And
Hello, Avon, Slinky, Terry.
hi there, all. How was the day for you all? So where would you like to start first, hon?
Um, well, we got lots to talk about tonight. Um, First of all, we all want to talk about the Brian situation. I'm sure we will get there. Um, I think we should talk about Major
Yeah,
first.
that's another really sad one. Let me see if
Hold on here, I'm just trying to see. Um, is it this one? Yeah, okay, I can read it.
okay.
I have a thing
I'll
here.
just give a little bit of background. Major Harris was I believe he was a 3-year-old. Is it 3 or 4? I get the ages mixed up, but out of okay, he was 3 years
3.
old, out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and essentially what took place was that his mother was found deceased. They believed that the father was involved with the homicide, but the father and Major Harris were missing again out of Milwaukee, Wisconsin. Eventually, they found the father, and he was deceased from self-inflicted gunshot wound. And then, and this is messed up. So then they found the van, but there was no little boy there, and
They found blood
oh, they
inside of
found
the
blood
car,
inside
though.
of the car. Okay, so they found that little boy today in a dumpster. Just why?
Yes, he was located in the 5300 block of North 35th Street in a dumpster.
Why? Why the heck?
It's really hard to say.
I don't get it. Like, I see humans treat other humans, well, supposed humans treat other humans like trash by, verbal abuse and stuff like that. But then to hear that a 3-year-old kid, and I'm sorry, guys, I should have stated that this was going to be triggering. It is for me. 3-year-old kid, evidently, did they say that he was also murdered, hun?
They didn't say, I don't think.
Okay.
The hell is going on?
But anyways, his body was found in a dumpster, like threw the kid away like it didn't even matter.
So sad.
The way that this society, that many people in this society treat people is just absolutely inexcusable. Like I don't understand it. I really don't. That's why I just choose to keep my circle of friends small. My kids and me, um, I've got Lori. Just keep my circle small because you just don't know with people in this world anymore.
very true.
I don't get it. The kid didn't even have a chance. He could have had a future. He could have helped people. He was thrown away like garbage.
Yeah, it's really a shame.
So there's that story to start with.
So yes, he has been found. That Amber Alert is done.
Yeah.
And 3 people died in that.
Yeah. Yeah, three little boy, mother and the father. Just absolutely messed up.
So sad. And condolences, of course, to the family.
Yes, absolutely. Um,
Okay, so I sent you the link for that Cleo Smith,
yeah,
right?
I'm gonna go and grab that.
Hey, Greg.
Not going to apologize for the emotions, guys. You know, I got really agitated when Lori told me about that, but it was just even harder talking about. Very unapologetic for that because there's nothing wrong with it. All right, let me go and grab okay, here it is. Now I'm not sure, like, no, this wasn't the same one as yesterday. It just seems like it was a um similar thing, but okay. Talking about my gosh. All right. There is an article in the description. I can't put it in the chat because the link is too long, guys. I'm sorry. Um, but it's involving Cleo Smith's case, and the article, the
I'm
art.
back. I
Oh well.
just don't have a camera.
Oh. Oh shoot. Hold on. Audio started. I told you the camera burned out because you're so hot. That's what happened.
I know it seems to me that I'm gonna need a new one.
It sounds like it. Okay, so concerning the Cleo Smith case, this article is from Adelaide Now, Australia, and it says Western Australia police investigate between 10 and 20 sex offenders in search for 4-year-old Cleo Smith. That's interesting because in the link it specifically says 20. You know, the more we do this, the more I'm seeing like all the stuff that the media throws out there. Western Australia police are looking into potential links between up to 20 sex offenders and the disappearance of 4-year-old Cleo Smith, last seen on Saturday, which would have been Friday for us. Um, and the police have revealed that contact has been made with up to 20 known sex offenders um, living in areas surrounding the campsite Cleo Smith disappeared from on Saturday. Um, Deputy Police Commissioner Daryl Gaunt told 6PR Wednesday that between 10 and 20 people had been contacted by officers um, to ascertain information about their movements over the weekend. Um, Part of the investigative strategies have included reaching them and um, reaching them and making inquiries into their whereabouts and movements, he said. At this point in time, oh yeah, I'm checking. I'm going to check through here to see if there's anything that was added because this is pretty similar from another news source that we read last night. Um, the police were satisfied that Cleo's biological dad, Daniel Staines, had no connection to the disappearance of his 4-year-old daughter. Um, Mr. Staines gave a statement to police on Tuesday at Mandurah Station, about 1,000 kilometers south of the Blowholes campsite where Cleo disappeared early Saturday morning. Um, Inspector John Monday um, later told 6PR Radio such interviews were normal police practice to help investigators build a really good victimology profile of Cleo and the family. He said at the time, or he said, okay, I'm kind of thrown off grammatically there. He said that there was um, potential that Cleo's dad could give police some new lines of investigation. There was no suggestion he had anything to do with his daughter's disappearance. Um, Commissioner of Police Chris Dawson reported the assertion in Western Australia's daily coronavirus update on Wednesday that every possible avenue was being thoroughly investigated in the search for Cleo. He told reporters um, no stone will be left unturned and nothing was being ruled out, um, detailing that a variety of scenarios were being closely examined with the help of um, subject matter experts. So they've ruled out the biological dad. Um, they're trying to look at it from every possible angle to find that little girl. Um, and says a criminologist points to a concerning detail in the case. A leading criminologist has pointed to one of the most concerning details in the mysterious disappearance of Cleo Smith. Um, Dr. Uh, Xanth Mallet told Sunrise on Wednesday morning that given that she has not been um, found in the surrounding bushland to where she went missing, it looks increasingly like, or let's see, it looks increasingly likely that the 4-year-old was taken. She said that one of the strangest details was that Cleo's sleeping bag also vanished. You wouldn't expect a 4-year-old to take the sleeping bag with them, she said. It comes after Cleo's family spoke publicly about the 4-year-old's mysterious disappearance for the first time since she vanished from a campsite early Saturday morning. And I think that that's probably the gist of all of this. Looking through, it doesn't appear that there's anything new other than the interview with a criminologist. Um, the search was temporarily interrupted by bad weather. Um, but there's, yeah, I'm pretty sure this same article is linked to in the description. Um, it does say that Cleo could be interstate by now, which members of the state crime squad had been working around the clock in the desperate hunt for Cleo, with investigators um, now imploring people across the country to keep their eyes peeled for the 4-year-old. So they're thinking that somebody could be taking her across the country. I mean, just speculative from my point of view. Um, I mean, it could likely even be a trafficking situation. Sadly, this stuff seems to be going on more and more frequently. It's absolutely sad.
It is. And there's also that $1 million reward
Right,
for
right.
her whereabouts. Um, Grandus returned back to the Wells place on Ben Hill Road there last night. Interesting. I didn't think she was coming
Yeah, that.
back.
Well, I think that's what they said in that prank call.
Yeah, but I thought that was legit. I don't know why I think that, but I thought that. I might be wrong. I don't know. I thought everything got really confusing after Mary and everybody got involved, and I don't know. Somehow it didn't. It stopped being about Summer, and it was about everything else. I kind of lost the plot there.
Yeah, it's the whole thing is messed up. I mean, you have the YouTube drama going on the different channels, and then you have I can't remember the prayer garden was out on one of the channels and mentioning that um, after essentially just being called out on some things that they discover that they've been very much so lied to by Dawn. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah, exactly. So many lies. Also, I guess yesterday or the day before, must have been yesterday. I guess today he confirmed it. Dog the Bounty Hunter is off of the search. I guess he. I heard that last night, so he had already quit before it had come in that it was Brian. So that is how Dog exited the situation. Anyhow, Dog is out. But no one let the dog out. If you missed my stream earlier, it was a short one. It was just me ranting about Critical K and her group. That was crazy.
Yeah,
If you go to our group, you can actually see the screenshots and everything of the conversation I had had with her in a group. It was actually kind of
yeah.
funny.
Actually, Lori was telling me about that when I called her during my lunch break today, and just messed up. Um, back when that individual had a channel on YouTube, I don't know that she does anymore. She would do these live streams, but then she would put them up on Patreon, which would essentially, force people to be able to have to pay to see them, and it was potentially a way around the YouTube monetization thing, I guess. I don't know what her tiers were. I saw the Patreon, um, but it sounds like for a group where they, in the title of the group where it talks about rational discussion, it sounds like there's a lot of irrational behavior that goes on in there. So just be careful out there.
Yeah, I thought it was crazy. I was like, wow, that's nuts. So much so that I decided to do a show about it, like I told you I would. Um, yeah, so if you're out there, Critical K,
Yeah.
what's up? Um, maybe you shouldn't be so critical. Critical. Okay, so now I guess that takes us back to Brian. Which, all right, what time
It's
is it?
8:20.
Yeah. I guess we could play the missing persons video and
Okay.
then to go into Brian.
So before I do that, I actually do have the link pinned. I got it before we came out here. For anybody who's watching, we're going to play a video of some missing persons posters for the day. Lori searches these out each day, and sadly, the list grows. on a daily basis. And um, if you are in any of the areas um, where any of these individuals are missing from, or if any kind of just grab you, you can hop over to our Facebook page, Ion Entertainment Network, by using that link that's pinned at the top of the chat. And you can find the posters out there, and feel free to share them out. It just takes a couple of clicks or a couple of taps on a mobile device, and that's, you may not be able to help to support organizations. You may not be able to do those kinds of things, but um, you can definitely go and share those out. And we will be right back, guys.
Heading back to what used to be home, passing by those little towns I know so well, stopping for gas and then I'm behind the wheel again. Driving this like a spiritual cleanse, where every mile is a new beginning and every bend holds a new end. Eyes on the road, don't lose control. I'm speeding fast to chase my soul. I'm driving to get away, running through emotions high and low, holding on or letting go. I'm fighting another day. The neon lights in the fast lane light, riding high, reaching for the sky. I had it all but lost and fell back down again. Spent my time playing the game where every single day was a losing battle and every drink was a dead end. Eyes on the goal, don't lose control. I'm living fast, I've lost my soul. I'm driving to get away, running through emotions high and low, holding on or letting go. I'm fighting another day. So empty deep within, where did I go wrong? Eyes on the goal, don't lose control. I'm living fast, I lost my soul. I'm driving to get away, running through emotions high and low, holding on or letting go. I'm fighting another day.
And we are back, guys. Just checking the comments out here. Is it possible to add city and state in bold print next to missing? Is that something that you'd possibly be able to do on those, hon? Yeah, like,
At the top?
or if it doesn't fit in the space over there, like center the city and state, or the region and province for Canada.
Probably.
Let's see. Slinky said, "Oh, I have an update, guys. The signs of abuse list. My daughter read it. She is. Yeah, I read it during the Yeah.
Oh, okay. I thought I'd already heard it.
Says that she's watching her animals and her daughter is moving out. I'm really sorry to hear about the abuse going on, but it's good that she's getting out of it. It's really good that she's getting out of it. Is it hard to slow down the frame rate on the missing people because um, I'm a fast reader but can't keep up? What is it?
I
Oh no, go ahead, hon. Go ahead.
what? Oh no, I said yeah, I can. It'll be just, I guess maybe
Do you know?
a little
Do you know
longer. I don't
approximately
know.
like how
What?
long each poster shows on screen for?
Well, a few seconds. I don't
Gotcha.
know off the top of my head.
Okay. Yeah, we'll see what we can do with that, guys. Um, let's see. We another thing we had Mr. Bertolino losing his cool on some news media outlets. That was the first time I heard his voice actually.
He's very,
Very well, huh? Yeah.
New Yorkie.
Yeah, his voice didn't sound like what I thought it was going to sound like though. I mean, the accent I was expecting, but
Yeah, something
hey
like that.
Jameson.
Hey, Jameson.
Yeah, it really is.
There's a couple different ones that he did. He gets mad at them all, I
Yeah,
think.
sounds like it. There were. Oh, go.
Okay, I get the fact that, okay, so the Laundries just lost a child, just like Jameson said there a
Mm-hmm.
second ago. And I I think honestly, I heard that protesters
It's
are
a
back out
shame.
there today saying that Brian's burning in hell or rotting in hell or whatever. Um, you know, I honestly feel that they should be ashamed of themselves for being out there, for one. Two, I don't care what the fuck happened.
Yep.
They lost their son.
Yep. Their son, who they didn't at birth say, "Hey, let's raise a murderer. Let's raise you know." I can't say no parent would do that because I don't know. It's a messed up world that we're in.
I think Bertolino realizes the errors that he made in this. I honestly do think he does. I mean, he's got to eat his own
Yep.
shit now, basically. So, um, I think how he reacted to the public, I think, is how the public reacted to Roberta and Chris. And I truly do believe that if he didn't come off and tell them not to talk to anybody, I mean, I don't know if that even included Cassie, but apparently they included that to be Cassie. I mean, they shut everybody out. It wasn't just the public, it was everybody. They were told not to say anything to anybody. And they didn't. They listened to what they were paying their lawyer
Lawyer who they
for.
knew for 25 years, so there was evidently some built up trust in him over that 25 years.
But, people are getting mad because they didn't report their son missing until the 17th. That isn't even true. There was phone calls made that day
But I don't
regarding
think the
that.
media reported that though, did they?
Like, the media didn't know. That's what I'm saying. What was leaked to the public, or what was said to the public, is what they wanted us to know at that given point in time. And I think he made it very difficult for the public to see the Laundries in any other way but evil. Even though now he's trying to retract all that sorry, my son's laughing. Um, he's trying to retract all that and put it all on him as to why. I mean, okay, it doesn't matter. It doesn't really matter. I mean, news people were pushing and pushing and pushing for answers regarding Gabby Petito and everything else. The Petito Schmidt family didn't want to hear about the Laundries when they first had heard about Gabby's remains being found. They wanted their own time to deal with what they had to deal with, as a family, to deal with what had happened. And the Laundries
I
deserve the
agree.
same thing.
Um, there was one of the protesters. Lori had mentioned it to me. Oh, what is it? Damaged. Is it damaged goods? Is that the name of the channel? Last night she had done
Hmm.
a video and she was in tears and she said she doesn't know how she feels about it. About Brian, about what came out yesterday. And
Because she was upset about it because she had
but that
felt
video is
pain for
gone.
the Laundries.
It was removed from the channel, evidently.
Apparently, she didn't
Hmm.
want others to hear it. Just when I thought there was hope that the protesters could just
But here's
shut
my
the fuck
thing,
up
though.
and move on.
If that's some sort of a community of protesters where they're all connected, she could have gotten herself some flack for putting that out there because it would essentially hurt their cause because one of their own is um, showing sympathy toward the ones who they, I mean, earlier that day she said, what was it? You haven't seen torture yet. I'm going to rain torture down on you.
Oh, Andra. Yeah, the very
Okay, so
person
that was
there.
a
The
okay.
strangulation was.
That was a
Yes.
different person. Okay, um, my bad.
No, that was the violent one that I'm saying. Gabby's family did say something. Uh, they're grieving the loss of their beautiful daughter, Gabby. They will not be providing comments of Brian's remains being found at this time. They'll make a statement at the appropriate time and when they are emotionally ready. Now, the thing people are overlooking in all this is that this has got
Hmm.
to be hard for them. I mean, I think in a situation like this, I don't want to make it sound bad or anything like that, but it's kind of like a bittersweet thing. You're kind of relieved it's over, but you still don't have the answers. You don't have what you want. And unless there's something written in that diary or notebook or whatever it was that says what had happened in a detailed thing, I don't think they're going to get the answers they want. And that's really sad. And,
There's not going to
you know, thing is that everybody has to live with the decisions they made
exactly,
during this whole
exactly.
case. So, uh, the thing is that I would rather be known for somebody who had a heart and looked at both sides of the situation and had compassion for people, even though the world hated them, literally, but still have that compassion because they're still parents that are grieving, than somebody who is a badass and will yell at a house and call people down and do whatever they threaten them and everything else to try to get answers that, from what I'm learning, they might not even have. Like, I don't think they have the answers. I don't think they have any answers other than what they
How's it
know.
going,
Hey,
Nikki?
Nikki. So, I mean, I know a lot of people, and I've gotten a lot of hate today in various groups and stuff because of my opinion. And honestly, it doesn't bother me what really people say about it because it's how I am. Why can't they grieve? Why can't they be left alone? Why did those protesters have to be there today? Why did they have to fuck everything back up again? Couldn't they just let it go?
Yeah,
Like even the lawyer said, just for one day, can you just go away?
agreed.
I mean, my God, how much does this family have to, you know, be put through for the actions of their child? I think it's pretty much a sealed deal that he was the killer of Gabby. I am pretty sure that that's the conclusion everybody's kind of drawn, and that's kind of what has kind of been insinuated from media. The mob is worse than Brian Laundrie. I don't care what people think of me saying that. I did this for a very, very long time. I was always inspired that our nation cared about
I'm
evidence,
right there
truth,
with you,
justice.
Jameson. I'll second that. I don't care if anybody hates. I will second that. Because what they're not doing physically, they're doing in their minds. Making all those threats and everything else. And it's continuous. And, they aren't going to have to live with all of the ramifications of the mental abuse that they're dishing out.
No, but they're going to have to live with the fact that one day they're going to be pointed out as the biggest asses in the world, and they're going to have to deal with
I
the
don't even. I,
consequences of that.
I don't
Because
even
it'll
know
be
if they
found
if
out
they'll
one day.
care. It just.
Well, they'll care when they don't got
Yeah,
viewers.
well, that's true. But the problem with that is though is that there unfortunately are a lot of other people like that. I mean,
Molly said today when she was at the airport that she, of course, does
I'm
this
not
for the
surprised.
views, even though she claims she didn't. I just did. Wait, hold on. We got some stuff going
How's
on.
it going, Kevin?
Hey, Kevin. I just didn't want you to think I just sit here and take. I don't want to put me out at night, so. Oh, I see. Well, that's okay too. Um, the protesters were here all day and night. Oh, uh, I don't know if I
Yeah, you
said hey
did.
Nikki, but hey Nikki,
You did.
I think you've been here a while. Protesters are idiots with nothing better to do apparently. Right, that's all they have to do is, and now the biggest thing is that it's like this big thing that the parents planted this, and I mean, crap, people are saying that he sawed off body
Yeah.
parts for crying out loud. It's like, really, you guys, like, come on. Just let him die. Just let it just be. Just let it be.
The sad fact is that there's many more people out there like that.
It's a sickness developing as a social
Yeah,
movement.
I can see that, Jameson. It's
It's scary though, right? Because when you're on that other side of the fence, like, even us doing that show last night where we took the side of the laundries, even just discussing that, and we had to tweak how we were going to present it just because of the fact that
Yeah, and
there was going to be
unfortunately,
hate
there are
with it.
people out there with bigger channels that are in support of all of the protesters, and I mean, all it takes is for them to get a hate mob, and this channel goes down, and all the hard work and everything is gone because people can come and report videos as abuse. YouTube is not going to necessarily go and look at it, from what I'm gathering, and all of the abuse
Hmm.
remarks could cause the channel to be taken down.
Exactly. So, I don't know. I think honestly they just went to the reserve. I think they knew where he frequented when he went there, and I think it was a fluke that they found what they found. And I mean, crap. He was filmed getting it. They had somebody filming them the whole time. Somebody could have planted shit there. Yes, of course somebody could have. But I'm sure if it's mucky in there, like Chris had water up halfway up his legs, if it's mucky in there and God knows what else. I mean, I'm pretty sure there could be a way to show if people have been in there within at least the last 24 hours
All
or
I can
around that
say
area.
is in spite of the fact that I'm definitely not in the place where I was on the spiritual side of things, I do remember a statement that was made in the Bible. I remember teaching on it in a Sunday school years ago, and it was essentially the words of Jesus, and it said, and I don't mean to be preachy out here, but it's valid, and it literally, the verse, it said, when iniquity shall abound, the love of many will grow cold, and when there's more hate in this world, the love is going to start to die down, and everything is going to start going colder and colder and colder. And it sounds down and depressing and gloomy and everything else, but it's unfortunately the way that our society is going. And I mean, as hard as it is for those of us out here who still choose to treat other people as fellow human beings and choose to intentionally be kind to people who are nothing short of terrible right back, we just have to keep choosing to do that, because that type of resolve is dying, and it's becoming more and more a rarity.
Very true. I don't think they have to
I agree with you there,
release
Terry.
anything.
It's something
Oh
that
yeah,
has to be
definitely, Terry.
intentionally practiced. It has to be intentionally practiced, regardless of how hateful other people can be. Sorry, honey, that I cut you off.
No, it's fine. Um, if we do, Greg, it'll be. I don't think it'll be right away. But look at how much we've learned from Bertolino just in the last day. I mean, he's said some pretty big information. So,
What I
I mean, it's hard to say. The FBI might be able to pop in and say something. I hope they would, instead of just thanking everybody, tell us something
I
else.
mean, and I mean no offense or disrespect towards you, Jameson, but one thing that I learned from Mr. Bertolino is, what I will say is, that's it. What I will say is that that phrase was repeated a lot. I think that the question should have been changed um, by the media. The media had asked him in one interview, um, "Did you have you spoken with Brian he since you last spoke with him?" I think it was on the 14th. And I'm wondering if the answer would have been different had Bertolino been asked, "Have you had any textual communication with Brian since his disappearance?"
Well, it almost seemed like when he was asked the tough questions, he'd look away for a couple seconds and then look back, almost like he had to think of a way to say what he had to say without leading on anything else. And I'm not saying he doesn't know more than he's letting on. He probably knows a boatload more than what he's letting on. However, he's right, like any conversations
Yep.
that he had with Brian, any conversations he had with the Laundries
Yep.
is
Attorney-client privilege.
confidential.
Yep. Um,
So I think we should be happy we got the information we did get, that he did give the public every day
all I'm
almost.
saying is, those protesters, um, they are they are definitely helping to build my perception of them and changing my perception on the Laundrie parents even more. I mean, I wasn't trying to look at them as horrible people. I thought that their behaviors were suspicious, but they were following Mr. Bertolino's instructions. And like he said in one of those interviews, they did what I told them to do.
Exactly. I mean, I don't know what people are pissed about with it all.
One thing sticks out. One thing sticks out to me during one of those protests, and there was a woman out there. I'm not sure who it was, um, but she was out there screaming like crazy. And one of the first things she said was it because you're jealous of Gabby?" And then the next thing she said, "Oh, that was
Oh,
her."
that was Andrew, I
And
think.
then she said, "Is it because she was Republican?" And they just kept,
Wow.
I'm so
I
sick of
mean, come on now.
politics. So sick of it.
I honestly don't think this had to do with politics, religion, or anything like that. I think it had to do with a relationship that
Yeah.
probably shouldn't have been, and some choices that probably shouldn't have been made. And sadly, we're where we
Well,
are.
I also. Oh, sorry, hon. Go ahead.
Like, sorry, like I said in my post in the group earlier today, like to be, I don't know how I said it, but to. Oh, hold on here. Ignore the protesters; they're idiots. That's true, and I'm sure they'll be at the next one.
Yeah, they'll be at somebody else's house next.
Because it's just a matter of time that sadly there'll be another case that'll be in the headlines. And I mean, honestly, it's almost looking like that Cleo Smith might be the one.
Yeah.
Um, that's such a weird story.
Um. What was I going to say? Me either.
Oh, I know.
Yeah, that I agree with that, Terry. And then for the protester to sound to say, "Oh, you're tortured by us. You haven't seen torture yet. We'll rain torture down on you." It's just so ridiculous.
I can only imagine that in that house for the last how many weeks, it probably
Oh, that's
hasn't
what I
been the
was going to say.
best.
When you were mentioning that it was probably a relationship that shouldn't have been, I also think that after
Mhm.
the lockdown conditions, it was probably not a good idea to be out traveling in very secluded places. I don't think that that was the right time for that. This stuff with the lockdowns has had and is going to continue to have some serious psychological ramifications on a lot of people. And being out in further
Mhm.
isolation is just it's probably not the best of ideas.
Oh shit! Alec Baldwin fires prop gun, kills cinematographer and injures
What?
director. Life breaking news. Yeah. Wasn't Alec Baldwin the one that had all the drug issues and stuff, or was that the other Baldwin? I can't remember, but there's a Baldwin that has had drug problems. If that's the case, man, he's just got badass
Yep,
luck.
that's in Matthew 7 there, Slinky. Oh, wait, was that? Hey, webcam is back.
Webcam
Oh,
is back.
wow. Oh my gosh. Yeah, I'm definitely familiar with those. I'm not perfect though. I try not to be a judgmental person, but I know sometimes I fall into that trap as hard as I try not to be. Thank you, Nikki. It's a bot. I don't think it's a real person, Terry. It's they're trying to link to some very erotic pages. I'm pretty sure, and all I'm going to say is I only have one eye that's usable, but that eye is only only want that on one person, and that's it. Um, they were hidden. I'm going to have to see if I can figure out how to do that. The thing is, though, is that if they're bots, there will be another one. Unfortunately, I may have to go in on my phone and see if I can get them. Let me see. One moment. Here we are. Oh wow, I'm on YouTube. That's crazy. All right, there they are. All right, let me see if I can block them out here. Remove, report, put user in timeout, unhide. Oh shoot. Looks like I'm not able to block them, unfortunately. Well, that's frustrating. It's starting to become like any of you use Yahoo Chat back in the day, and they had all the different chat rooms and stuff like that. And there would be all these bots that would come in about webcams and stuff like that, and that's what it's starting to remind me of. A lot of that stuff is all automated. And this probably isn't the only channel. Um, huh. Webcam HD XYZ will satisfy your wishes online. Yeah. There's I just have to find the channel that's associated, but that's the difficult part, and it's not allowing me to do that through the chat. What I'm going to do is I'm going to follow Nikki's lead, and I'm going to go and report him as well. Let's see what we get here. There we go. Pornography or sexually explicit material. There we go. And if any of the other mods wouldn't mind, just if you're on your mobile device, just tap on that name. It should still show up there in the chat, and just go and report them. That's probably the best way to go about it. Unfortunately, YouTube doesn't give you the option to ban from IP. I'd have to find out what their channel is. Let me see.
So, what do you guys want to be discussing now? Now that there really isn't much else to discuss regarding...
Well,
the search for Brian.
There is,
Laundrie.
You had sent me a missing poster for Candace Knox.
Yeah, wasn't she? Yes, she's actually the one you're supposed to be doing. Yes, because we do one that was missing from a few years ago. I've been throwing one in every time. Oh, and then there's, I sent you the link.
Oh yes, yeah, that's actually in the description too. So, because evidently YouTube doesn't like the long links being posted in there, so I don't get it.
Oh, hey Mark. Hey, people having sex. Wow, how original in regards to porn. Yeah, exactly. You just pop in, eh? You just pop
You missed out on the webcam ad. All right. Let me go and grab this.
Missed out on something. Something fishy going on around here.
Okay, here we go.
You missed the show, Mark.
Switch over to our others.
So what are your thoughts, Mark? Sorry. What are your thoughts, Mark, on the whole Brian Laundrie dead?
Now, I'm not going to be able to enlarge this any further, guys, but we are, let me go over here on Messenger and grab it. The only option that I have is to stretch the image, but it's because of the resolution of the image. This was more of a vertical form image like you would find with a cell phone because it's taller than it is wide, and if you enlarge it, it's going to go off of screen. You can stretch it, but it's going to distort the text. So
Oh, so even if I looked at
If
it
you
on
open
mine,
it
it
up on
would still be
Messenger
the
on your
same.
PC, you'll be able to see it a bit more clearly, but it's still going to be difficult. So this is um, Candace
Oh,
Knox from
crap.
Lakeland, Florida, and last seen on March 12th of 2015. When she was last seen, she was 33 years old, 5'4", 120 pounds, blonde hair and blue eyes. She had, I'm gonna have to get really close here. She had a rose on um, the right side of her chest, um, 3 crosses on her left hand, TJ on her left ankle, a butterfly on top of her left foot, um, a rose on her lower back, 4 butterflies on the back of her shoulder. Um, when she was seen back then, she was wearing a black tank top, um, denim shorts, and knee-high black boots. Um, circumstances: at around 7 a.m. on March 12th, 2015, Candace Levine Knox walked away from her home um, on Jamestown Avenue in Lakeland, Florida. There has been no activity um, on her social media accounts since then, and her family has not seen or heard from her. Um, there's that agency case number. It's 1511779, and I don't think there's a number for the local authorities there, is there? Am I missing it? Let me see. Oh, here it is. Here it is. And yeah, any information,
Down at the
call
bottom.
Polk County Sheriff's Office at 863-298-6834. Just,
Also, if you guys remember the Kaylee Anthony case, Kaylee would have been 15 years old this year.
just so crazy.
So, like I asked before, what kind of things did you guys all want to talk about now that there isn't going to be much to talk about
Oh
with
wait,
the
what
Petito
about that
Laundrie?
video that you sent me? Um, the one about the
What video?
kidnapping.
Oh, the woman kidnapping
Mm-hmm.
at the hotel or motel? Yeah, it was just something that was kind of crazy that I had seen, like
I'll bring that up, but there
crazy.
was another thing. In in light of Domestic Violence Awareness Month, um, let me post this link out here if it'll let me. If not, it's in the description. Um, but Lori's been finding stories pertaining to domestic violence. Um, and yeah, this one actually went through. So I'm going to read this. This is about someone, maybe a pseudonym, Jessica. 1 in 4. Jessica writes about her experience in an abusive, long-term, same-sex relationship. And sadly, I know Jameson pointed it out the other night that domestic abuse, domestic violence cases and numbers are actually higher in same-sex relationships, um, statistically speaking. Just what would it take for you to leave her? This was never an easy question to answer. By the time it was being asked by my friends, family, or therapist, every time I broke down in tears, describing a conversation, an event, or yet another hideous argument, I didn't know, let alone trust my own mind. And that's what happens in these kinds of situations. I had allowed myself to be systematically stripped of my sense of autonomy. I was functioning as an adjunct to another human being, a more important, saint like human being who showed the world such a different side um, to the one she showed me. And every time I was asked, I would question the questioner. Was I was I mad or bad or both? Blaming myself was the one thing I had become extremely good at. Then there were the countless times I asked the same question of myself, particularly those desperate moments looking up at um, one of the beams in my house, wondering how much it would hurt to put a rope around my neck and slip off a chair. Up to this time in my life, I had felt so blessed, wonderful family and friends, an incredible education, a successful career. Although I knew about um, male to female violence and abuse, it had never occurred to me that female to female domestic violence abuse was a thing. I'd never heard of phrases like gaslighting, coercive control, or narcissistic personality disorder. I'd had no reason to. I thought I was an okay sort of person. I'd been told I was a good friend and a good listener, and had always prided myself on being able to read people and situations, both personally and professionally. As a result, finding myself in an emotionally abusive relationship completely crept up on me, and it usually does. Things had been getting worse and worse, and despite my mother and some brave friends trying to warn me, I sailed, by choice, blindly on. I hadn't noticed how many friends I had cut off because my partner didn't like them. I didn't question how often it was easier not to go out um, on my own because of the quantity of texts I'd get when I was out. On the contrary, I was flattered she was worried about my safety and missed me so much. I didn't wonder why it was okay for her to talk endlessly about herself and her relationships before me, but not for me to do the same. I didn't worry at all that people were starting to ask me why I wasn't talking, um, and why I would let her answer, even when questions were asked directly to me. I didn't even notice the invitation starting to dry up. I was just happy knowing that someone so dynamic, so charismatic, loved me. I relaxed into her shadow. Those are some really deep words there. I disappeared so completely that even though every cell in me was telling me that something was desperately wrong, I thought I was the bad one and that I should stay and make things right. I'd been told it so often during our arguments that I came to believe it. Unquestioningly, I could barely function and had completely lost perspective. I felt so worthless, so ashamed. Such an evil, unstable person that I often felt the only thing to do was end it all. So that fateful night, um, when her drunken alter ego was out again, screaming, making accusations, I'm glad she hit me, because that, in the end, was what it took to wake me up. I went upstairs and jammed the spare room door shut, um, pulling a kitchen knife under my mattress. I took pictures of the huge mark on my face and neck and texted a friend to let her know what had happened, just in case, but it didn't occur to me to leave the house or call the police. Even then, usually you don't, because you're still afraid you're going to get them in trouble. It took months to break away, months during which she told and retold the story of her violence to make me the villain, telling me I deserved to be hit. It was only a light slap, and that, if I told anyone, she would say I'd hit myself. I've never lost so many so-called friends um, who chose to believe her version of our story, that I was the abusive one. It's taken a long, long time to get over that damage. And to be honest, there are still times when I feel that um, pernicious fingers of despair and doubt around my heart. Could I have behaved better? Was she right? It's true. I didn't always behave um, impeccably. There were times when I acted in ways that I feel embarrassed about now. At the time, um, I saw them as proof that she was right, that I was a terrible human being. Spiteful things said in the heat of an argument, or um, shouting at her or others. Thankfully, I am surrounded by family, friends, and a therapist who tell me that it was perfectly normal. Uh, in the circumstances, to occasionally get angry, and that this wasn't the proof of me being abusive. It's the impact of prolonged gaslighting. That it's normal, years on, still to call someone in tears to ask if I am a bad person, and that it was the right thing not to take my story public and fight for her fire with fire. I'm slightly embarrassed to tell my story here alongside people who have suffered much worse violence and abuse than me. I also know how lucky I am. I was able to walk away and refill my life with happiness and joy without feeling fear daily. So many people never get that chance, but I feel that by writing this, maybe it might resonate with someone, somewhere, and that they might recognize what is happening so that they too can get out before it's too late. Yeah, it's good that she got out of that. Legitimately. Just crazy, crazy circumstances.
Yeah, no kidding. Kevin, the update I tagged you in the group to the thing on her, but the update on Cleo was what was the
On
update?
Cleo, they essentially they have interviewed um, or they went and they checked on between the article that's in the description. The headline states 20, but as you read through the article, it goes to 10 or 20, between 10 and 20 sex offenders in that area, to find out what their movements were during the time. Um, One criminologist believes that since they haven't found her in the bushery around the area, that the criminologist strongly believes that it's quite likely that somebody has taken off with Cleo and could be traveling across the country. It sounds like to me that it could be like a trafficking kind of thing, sadly. The biological father is ruled out. I believe that the mother and stepfather are also ruled out. What was also very strange about it was that her sleeping bag was also missing, which, if no, they say that, I don't know. They say that it would be abnormal for a 4-year-old to take her sleeping bag if going out of the tent, but I don't know. I don't know about that. Like, maybe. But the fact of the matter is with this is that the tent zipper was out of reach for her, and it was unzipped from the top. It almost sounds like to me if she was in her sleeping bag that sadly somebody unzipped that tent door, yanked her out with a sleeping bag, and took off with her, possibly.
Was anybody else in the tent with
I
her?
don't know if she and her parents were sleeping in the same tent or if she was sleeping in her own tent. That I am not certain of. From where?
Okay, well, I'm not judging. I'm just gonna give them a judge. Hopefully, that wasn't the case
Yeah.
because that's sad.
Good night,
Night,
Slinky.
Slinky.
Yeah, rest well.
Thanks for
Thanks for coming
coming.
out.
So
Yeah,
sad.
it really is.
So I don't have anything else to talk about, actually.
Yeah, I don't have anything either. So I guess, if you want, we could wrap it up, hon.
Oh, yeah, we can. I mean, unless anybody else has anything.
I will say again, like I do every night, because, it just needs to be repeated that we appreciate each and every one of you. Um, we appreciate you coming out and giving your time to interact with us and to watch. Um, it really means a lot that you give of one of your most valuable assets to spend it with us. Um, and, if you are watching the channel and you've enjoyed the interaction, but you're not yet subscribed to the channel, we would love for you to sign on and subscribe. And even if you're, not active out in the chat, maybe at some point you'll feel comfortable enough to come out and chat with us. But please be sure to hit that thumbs up button over there as well. That definitely helps us a lot as we continue to work to grow the channel. And, you know, we appreciate everything that you all do, because this channel wouldn't be what it is and what it's growing into if it wasn't for each and every one of you out there. So wherever you all are watching from, or if you're watching on the replay, then we wish you a very good morning, good afternoon, or good night, wherever you are.
Also, don't forget, too, that I'll probably be on if there's something to talk about tomorrow morning at 10 a.m. If not, then, well, that's why I wasn't
Right.
on.
Yeah, the 10 a.m. show is tentative, so if there is any breaking news out there, you can expect to see Lori out there around that time. And hopefully they'll get notifications fixed so you guys don't see the notification for the 10 a.m. show at like 7 p.m. But again,
Exactly.
we appreciate you all, and we look forward to being out here with you all again soon. Bye, guys.
Bye-bye, all.